Posted by user/JVPairs. How did you know that your crush loved you? My mother told me. We were shopping together near her, my friend, workplace, and I wanted to say hello. We entered, said hello, we chatted for a few minutes, my mother waited watching. When we continued shopping, mother told me that this girl is totally in love with me. Huge WTF. How do you know? And she told me she blushed just when she saw me, and all her body language just screamed I love you. I literally noticed none of those signs. Few days later I kissed her expecting she will slap my face. She kissed me back 20 years together. This made my day 100 times better. This girl I really liked gave me some chocolates for graduation. It was assorted and some had nuts which I'm allergic to, so I couldn't risk eating any. I still appreciated it, since I was secretly super into her. I tried being friendly and talking to her after that, but she started acting weird and distant, so I assumed I misread things. A couple months later I gave those chocolates to my mom. Later she texts me something. I found this under the chocolate. I think it must be for you. It was a photo of the girl with her number written on it, and a confession of her feelings. I wanted to explain to her what happened, but she had a boyfriend by that point, and I thought it'd be weird. Still kicking myself to this day. We were sitting in bed watching a movie. His daughter, who I'd met that day, was sitting with us. He got very quiet and said, "Hey, I love you." I knew he meant it, because I could barely hear him. He lost confidence mid-sentence and his voice cracked. And what happened? Been together for 3 years now. Thought I was gonna be rejected, so came up to her door. We were roommates, crying at 4 AM. She opened up half asleep, and I confessed that I had feelings for her, and that I knew she wouldn't like me back, and that I was just letting it all out so she could reject me and I could move on. 4 hours later, after talking some more, she confesses she feels the same way. After I made a fool out of myself and told her all of the dumb sappy things I thought/felt. 4 years later, and we are still together. The way she muffled the words of I love you beneath the duct tape. That is when I knew it was real. Those precious moments in life are so fleeting. Are you sure she wasn't trying to say please let me go? We were lying in a single bed together. I was asleep, squished up facing away from him. I wake up to hear him mumbling something. I said what? And he mumbles something again. He's just lying there staring at the ceiling. I'm like half asleep and really tired at this point, so I just said what even louder, and he responds I love you. I often wonder how long he was awake for before he got the nerve to say that, or if he even intended to wake me up. Still together 5 years later. One time I walked around my entire neighborhood picking out flowers for a handmade bouquet of flowers, and I also bought her favorite chocolate. It was a Saturday morning and I wanted to surprise her, and she wasn't awake yet. My heart was pounding as this was maybe my second time being at her house. We had just started dating, and I had only met her dad like twice, and so I was incredibly nervous. I asked if I could see her, and he smiled and said of course. So I went upstairs and spent 2 minutes figuring out which room was hers, because her sister's room looks the same from the outside with the door closed. I finally remembered which one it was and opened up the door and sat on the edge of her bed and whispered good morning and pushed her hair back, and she woke up and saw that I was there, and she giggled and cracked the biggest and most precious smile I'd ever seen and then hugged me, and that's when I knew. Almost a year and a half later, here we are. Still dating and I keep falling for her more and more each day. Love is super cool. Her mother told my mother. What is it with mothers? Are they all in a gang together or something? I'm a dude, can I be invited to the gang? I'd make a great mom. They were in the doctors together and started chatting. They did not know each other, but they talked about children and her mother let it slip that she knew who I was and that her daughter talked about me a lot, and they both giggled about it. Coincidentally, I asked her daughter what she was doing that night on the train home, but she shunned me with some nonsense about having to babysit. I was a bit low that night and my mother asked why. I told her, and she told me about the conversation in the surgery. I called her and asked if she was really babysitting. She said yes, and I got in my car and drive right over. Although I was 17, so it lasted 5 weeks and was back before Nirvana was a thing. Not my crush, but a girl I was a little interested in. She was a friend of mine I'd hang out with from time to time. Back then I had no balls, so I never made a move at all. There was one day I was at Walmart with my dad, and we ran into her. She said something along the lines of "Don't mind my hair being a mess *giggles, plays with hair," made little small talk, and moved on because I was with my dad. We go about our business, and he tells me she's into me. He said if a girl is playing with her hair, giggling, and worried about their appearance around you, odds are they like you. It sticks with me to this day to try to keep an eye out for those kind of things, but I still feel like they're way easier to notice from the outside looking in. Not with her anymore and I'm so lonely and sad, but beside the point. She would look at me constantly during class and always talk to her friends while staring at me as they talked about me. Me being a dumbass thought I had my fly down or just something wrong with me, so I always ignored it until she tried to ask me out during a school dance, so I did it for her. She could not bring it to herself, and I saw her trying to, so I did. I confessed everything on text, and she saw it and confessed almost the exact same thing. On text: "Boy, hey, I gotta say something." Girl: "Yeah?" Boy: "Now I can hold it anymore, I love you." Girl: "I love you too." Boy: "Scenes. That exactly how it went. Are you a mind reader?" Liv Saman texted this with my girlfriend. My ex, who I still love dearly, sent me lyrics of a song and said this song makes me think of you. I questioned it, not thinking why. I'm not good with subtle hints clearly. 2 days later she messaged me saying that as she couldn't stop listening to the song and she realized that it made her think of me because she loved me. I now can't listen to that song because it breaks my heart. Song: Altitude by Fred V and Graphics. User Rave Rose. User Codded 343. User Snarfy. I never had the guts to tell you I love you. Saved for later. I wanna see how this goes. A few weeks into dating him, he made a comment about how I'd first stood out to him when I took a break from a group activity we were a part of to go admire the view of the water. It was then that I realized he wasn't just dating me because he thought I was pretty or because I asked him, but because he really loved the parts of my personality that make me me. We've only been dating 3 months so far, but I really want things to work out. I jokingly told her to show me her bob. She did. That's some good stuff that happens in your life. We are engaged now too. She's asleep on the couch for about another half hour. Then she's off to take care of the developmentally disabled, and I'm going to sit here and be excited about new bike day. Drove a girl to the airport. On the way there, I saw her discard a gum wrapper in my car door pocket. I kinda liked her, so I didn't say anything. When we got to the airport, she got out, and I gave her a hug. I got back in my car as she walked into the airport. Before I pulled off, I reached over to get that wrapper, only to find out it wasn't one, it was a note. She hand wrote the world's easiest word puzzle, and when I decoded it, it read, "If you're into it, I'm willing to give us a try." Been together now for just over 7 years, and married for almost 5. If you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing to Reddit Thief for more Reddit TTS. Have a nice day.